So the question now, are Democrats in for an uphill battle to try and bring those young voters back into the fold? Here with the read on all of this is BlueStack Strategies founder Maura Gillespie and Democratic strategist and former chief counsel for House Judiciary Committee Democrats Julian Epstein. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Julian, I'll go ahead and start with you. Democrats have said they're kind of in a rebuilding year right now. They're trying to find their identity, their party leader. In your opinion, is a couple of minutes of Kamala Harris on video pre-recorded, is that the sort of thing that's going to get Democrats fired up right now?
No, I think Kamala Harris is part of the problem. I think she was viewed by most voters as being incompetent and being way too far left. Young voters are moving Republican. The Democratic Party has three problems right now. One is voters don't like the product that they're selling. They don't like the cultural revolution, otherwise known as woke. They don't like the economic revolution, otherwise known as socialism. That's the first problem. The second problem they have is voters don't like the sound of the Democrats. It's the forever grievance party, the forever obstructionist party. And third, the Democrats have the problem of integrity, which we've been trying to Paul Revere. Some of us, a few of us, have been trying to Paul Revere the last few years. And the cover-up of Biden's incompetence, the cover-up of a scandal in plain sight, it has also damaged the party. So you talk about their rebuilding bill. They don't really have a plan to rebuild because they're so internally divided. They're in the middle of a Cold War right now, so there's no clear plan. You go out on the street outside of the studio, I guarantee you 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 voters will have no idea what Democrats stand for.
More to that point, when you look at this video of Kamala Harris speaking, they made sure to put her gender pronouns on there, saying she, her. How do you think Republicans viewed this speech, if that's what you want to call it, yesterday?
I have to say that's the first thing that I noticed, unfortunately. And I just, to Julian's point, I agree. I think that the identity politics proved to be a failure for Democrats in the last cycle and will continue to be if they don't shift their messaging to an actual plan. I think that, if there's going to be grievances and you're only going to run against Donald Trump, well, he's a lame duck president. So what are you going to be for? And I don't think the Democrats have figured that out. They have continued to harp on things being a mess and corrupt and wrong and all the things that they could think of negative. But that starts to go numb if you don't have anything to say what, you're working towards. And as members of Congress, especially, go back to their districts here in August, they need to be talking to the people who elected them. What are you doing to lead? What are you doing to make lives better and bring down the cost of living? And I don't know that what Kamala Harris is serving is really what they're looking to pick up, because it's not a plan. It's just more of the same that they voted against in 24.
Yeah, and in the meantime, ex-Biden Chief of Staff Ron Klain, he's been answering questions on the former president's mental fitness this week. He kind of took a different approach than other Biden aides who had been pleading the fifth. Klain is actually answering questions. He told House investigators he thinks Biden was mentally sharp, but he did admit that President Biden was often forgetful and that Hillary Clinton even shared some concerns over his viability in the election. Julian, as a Democrat, are you satisfied with the answers that you've been getting from the former Biden team, even though it really only seems to be coming from Ron Klain?
No, and Ron is a friend of mine. He's a good guy. But what Ron is trying to do, and it's better than what the other staff did, is he's saying that Biden couldn't remember small things like names, but he was competent on big things. Well, that's not really true. Biden didn't know what his general's position was on Afghanistan. He didn't know that the liquid natural gas pause was an actual pause rather than a study. He thought it was a study. He thought Congress had passed student loan relief. He messed up on. He didn't seem to have a grasp on big things. So while Ron, I think, is good to answer questions, he's parsing in a way that is incredible. And again, there's a very few of us who were warning the Democrats about this for 2 years, and people didn't listen. They got into a groupthink and they deluded themselves. They thought they were gaslighting the public, but they didn't. Nobody believed them. And this is part of the problem of the party's brand right now.
And Maura, we got about a minute left here. With Ron Klain essentially being the only one answering questions, how far do you see Republicans being able to dig into this? It seems like almost everybody's pleading the fifth. Final word to you.
I felt that Ron Klain spoke up because of the Hunter Biden podcast interview earlier this week that led us to believe that the president was on Ambien and all these different things that Hunter Biden said. It's a real problem for Democrats at large that the Biden family, continues to stick their necks out into the spotlight like Hunter Biden did this week. I think it creates more problems. But Ron Klain, I believe he spoke up because to try and counter that, to say, yes, of course, we saw some issues there. But, I look forward to when Anita Dunn comes in next month, because she's the one that wanted him to go, the president, to do the debate in June of last year. And I think that's really what I'm curious to learn about, who decided, who's making decisions.
Yeah, and what a catastrophic decision that ended up being, to have that debate early like that. Julian, Maura, great to see you both. Thanks for coming on. Happy Saturday to you guys.